Vendée Globe! Woo! Oh my God! I have to find a couple of jibes to get to the finish. Probably in an hour or so. Good breeze. It's a bit rock and roll. As usual, when you pull the camera out, it seems very civilized, but some moments are pretty interesting. Oh. Okay, breakfast time. A little break, recharge the energy. Woo! Recharge the batteries with a muesli. Yeah, short waves in the Bay of Biscay.
Well, there you go, Boris Herrmann this morning before breakfast, coming into the Bay of Biscay, coming into his finish. Here we are then, it is day 80 on the Vendée Globe Live, Wednesday the 27th of January, and here we are, D-Day, it's money time. A few hours left until the finisher comes into this epic Vendée Globe, and the tension here in Les Sables-d'Olonne is truly palpable. Well, it looks like Charlie Dallin will cross the finish line, one of the clear favourites before the race. He should cross around about 5:30 UTC this afternoon or evening, 5:30 to 6:30 UTC roughly. Then between 9:30 and 11:30, that's our current projections for the next boat. The big question is who that will be, whether it'll be Metricoque or perhaps Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco, Boris Herrmann. The question is who. On current predictions, the little bit of reminder is that if Boris has to finish 6 hours after Dallin, or if he finishes less than 6 hours after Charlie Dallin, then he will win, as long as he's more than 4 hours and 15 minutes ahead of Metricoque. If Bestaven is less than 4 hours and 15 minutes after Boris, then he will win. So everything is open, and it's really important you follow the lives on Facebook, YouTube and Dailymotion over the course of the finishes. We'll start the lives about half an hour before the first boat to finish, and we'll run through the whole of the race. My guest today, we'll have François Gabart with us, special guest on the plateau with us. Thank you for joining us, François. A few quick questions. Your thoughts on Charlie's race then? It's been an incredible finish.
Yeah, it did a wonderful race, and it will probably finish first, at least on the finishing line tonight. Question is, will be it enough with the bonification of Boris and Yannick? Honestly, we don't know. Only thing we know, it will be very, very close.
How are you going to feel as a team if he doesn't win?
I mean, I think we could be happy and proud about all he has done and what we've done before the starting line. His boat is a good boat. He will arrive in the first position for sure. So I think we just have to, he's doing his best, and we have to be happy tonight. Whatever happens, we have to be happy, because what we have done in the last 2 years is, I think, a good job.
You've had no regrets? There's no little things that you think, oh, if only.
Not now. Doing a debrief maybe later and trying to be better. It's all the time what we try to do. But just now, I think it's not time for questions. It's not time for regrets. It's just enjoying also going back, and we're happy to be with him now again. Just for him to enjoy also the end of the race, and be happy to be back on Earth, and we see later. But no question, no regret now.
Indeed, but I mean, it's been fantastic for the sport, fantastic for the Vendée Globe. You could not have engineered it more if you were a Hollywood producer.
No, yeah, I think a crazy producer. Now, it's impossible to imagine what we're living now. Even when the first, probably Charlie tonight, will cross the line, we won't know if he wins the Vendée Globe or not. We will have to wait all the night. So I imagine that we won't sleep. We will just wait, check the timing, check the speed, try to know, because every minute will be important.
And what's it been like for you as a team over the last few days?
A little bit stressful, tension. No, I mean, as I say, we can be proud about all we have done, but of course it's stressful, and we just want this to be finished now.
Away from the podium, who's impressed you?
Do you know the podium?
Yeah. No, of course. But
I mean, and I'm really honest. I think if you look about all the boats, and even on the top 10, they all done a wonderful race. I think Charlie was one of the favorites, and he assumed this responsibility of favorite, and I think he did a great race. But after all of the skippers just behind, they did something great, and I think we can all be proud of what they have done. And it's probably a surprise to have all of these skippers in the top 10 with a lot of favorites that just went out. It's an interesting race to follow because they all have done a good job.
They have indeed, and there's still races going on within the race all the way back to the back of the fleet. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's wonderful to see for everyone.
And what are you up to just now, Francois? What are your next plans?
I'm still building a multi-hull, a new hull team that will be launched in June. And I'm starting. You know, it's a little bit the same at the end of the Vendée Globe. You want to be to cross the finishing line, and now I'm starting to really want to finish the boat and to sail with it. When I see all the image of this guy sailing, my position on here on the team with Apivia was really interesting, and I love to be in this position, but I also love to be sailing, and I'm really excited now to sail again on this boat.
You're watching the America's Cup a little bit, are you?
Also. And hopefully, because the Vendée Globe will finish soon, so we will have
Perfect.
a nice show every night, or not every night, but some of the next night. And what's happening also in New Zealand is wonderful to see. So a lot of things happening in sailing, and that's great.
The big question we're all having is, will there be a trickle down from the America's Cup technology in terms of the foils into the IMOCA fleet?
Of course, there is plenty of things to look at the America's Cup. What they have done with their boat is just fantastic. The performance they managed to do is, who will imagine 10 years ago that you could sail as fast as they're doing? And there is probably a lot of things to learn from America's Cup for the Vendée Globe, but also for the ultimate class where I'm sailing.
Thank you so much, Francois. We'll catch up with you hopefully over the course of the finishes. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's look at the rankings then today at midday, as if we need to. They're changing all the time. You're far better to watch, of course, on the tracker. But here we go. Midday just now. Charlie Dallin is leading by 62 miles. The key thing though is boat speeds on the 30-minute speed gun. Charlie's doing 19.8 knots. Louis Burton's in second again. He's doing 17.5 knots, and Boris Herrmann doing 21.2 knots down in the south of the Bay of Biscay, along with Charlie. Louis Burton much more up in the north. Thomas Riong is in fourth. He's 159 miles behind the leader. He's doing 17.2 knots. Yannick Bestaven doing 19.4 knots. He's 189 miles behind the leader. Damien Sagan and Giancarlo Podotti still pretty close, only 29 miles between them. Damien doing 17.8 knots. Giancarlo 19.9, of course, on the foiling boat. Jean Le Cam is in eighth. He's still making time and distance back on the leaders. He's 439 miles behind the leader. That's over 100 miles closer than he was a couple of days ago. Benjamin Dutroux in ninth. He is 603 miles behind the leader. Maxime Sorel, looking at this big low pressure system coming in, that may well affect him over the weekend. He's got 819 miles to go. And then Armel Tripon, probably also affected by this big low, in 11th. Then our internationals, Alan Rura in 16th, still battling with Arnaud Boissier. Boissier getting away a little bit. And then Kojiro Shiraishi going nicely ahead of Stefan Landerezing, doing 17.5 knots. Very much in his comfort zone now is Koji with his reef main and the foiling boat, Sister Sip to Charal. He's in 17th, doing 17.5 knots. And then Stefan Landerezing, Pip Pear, Didac, all in this group. Pip doing 14 knots. We've got her in the show just momentarily. And then, of course, on the third page, if you like, Miranda Merrin doing 12.7, and then Alexia Barry and Ari Hosela, they are still just pretty close together, 41 miles between them at the moment, 24th and 25th. So that's the standings at midday. We're going to have a look at the weather now with Christian Dumard, our weather expert. Christian, tell us quickly about the ETAs. Are they changing all the time, or are we now finding them fairly fixed?
No, the ETAs are moving, because if there is a little wind shift, then it can change by half an hour, 1 hour very, very quickly. So the ETA for the first one is between 5:30 and 6:30 UTC. And then the second boat, well, we don't know if it's going to be Louis Burton or Boris Herman.
Before you run the animation, just give us a quick picture of how you see things for coming in, because it's all about the ley lines, isn't it? It's all about the angles coming in and how little they need to change.
So right now, Charlie is sailing towards the northeast, but Sabledon is here, and he's probably not making the ley line.
Probably going to have to jibe, isn't he?
He's going to have to jibe probably around Ile-Dieu and finish. So maybe he can put the jibe now, or he can put the jibe later on. So that depends on what. And then we have Boris, but the wind is shifting to the southwest in the western part.
So going left.
And so he's going left. So
he's being lifted.
Yeah, he's been lifted, and so he will have a longer jibe to do. And then the two boats in the north, they're on the ley line, so they're going to sail like this. The wind is going to shift to the right slowly for them, and so they're going to sail on straight.
So they've got a nice
line.
Trajectory, as you say.
Yeah. And so they're sailing at about between 18 and 19 knots. So 10 hours, it's about 180 miles. So when Charlie's going to cross the finishing line, we'll start checking the numbers and see what's the distance.
What about this little match race between Damien Sagan and Giancarlo Padotti?
And so
it's all on for them as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's the same situation, because Giancarlo is further north now. And so Damien will have to jibe, and maybe Giancarlo can lay on one tack. So
let's see you running the animation then.
And so if we run the animation,
make me look good.
If it starts, yeah,
here we go.
And so we see that Charlie has to do one jibe, Boris will have to do one jibe, and the two others, or the three others, will just finish on one straight line. We didn't talk about Louis Burton, but Louis Burton is a little further south than the two in the north, and so he'll probably have to jibe in the afternoon for 1 or 2 hours.
So who's winning?
Today it's impossible to know. It's going to be very tight, maybe a matter of minutes.
Understatement of the day, I think, from Christian Dumard, then, our weather expert. Thank you so much, Christian. I've just been joined on the plateau. Well, I have Antoine Mermod, the president of IMOCA, and Stu McLaughlin, the boat captain, technical director of the Malizia team. Stu, start with you. You must be super pleased to see Boris in this position.
Yes, very, very happy with it. It's been an amazing race. He's done an awesome job of, conserving the boat and keeping it in good condition for the final push up the Atlantic.
But a credit to yourself and your team that the boat's at 100%.
Yes, yeah, no, we're very happy and chuffed with how we've done with, building reliability into the boat, and so Boris has got the tool to work with when he needs it.
Tell us about your team then, because you're a small team, relatively speaking, compared to the gentleman who's just left the plateau. The Mer concept, you're a pretty little team. Yeah,
we're generally just 4 of us on the technical side with the boat. So rigger, boat builder, systems, and then another guy that is good with both rigging and boat building. So yeah, we cover everything in-house as well, apart from the electronics. And then we have Holly and Luthea doing the office and corporate stuff, which has been awesome. So yeah, it's.
And what about Boris's or the race strategy in general? I mean, this was kind of pre-discussed, presumably, that he would really try and preserve the boat and push coming up the Atlantic.
Yeah, it was always look after the boat. So you did have the longevity and the reliability for the duration of the race. And that was pretty much the strategy, is just keep everything together and find your weather windows and the sea conditions and stuff where you can, open it up and let it go.
So in terms of optimising, what were you looking at specifically as the sweet spots for the boat?
Obviously you want it for all conditions and directions, but we're very good at reaching, and our probably our upwind performance is very good. So our VMG downhill is possibly not as good as some of the other boats, which we, somewhere we can work on in the future. But for now, we're get to the finish and yeah.
And what's next for the Militia team?
We want to carry on. The team wants to carry on for the setup for the next long term for the next Vendée, and if possible, do the ocean race as well in between, which would be great. So yeah, we're looking at all our options. Nothing's set in stone yet, but we're working on it, getting there.
Thanks, Stu. So Antoine, then this has been a great advert for the Vendée Globe, obviously, but also for IMOCA. I mean, you couldn't have engineered it better if you tried.
Yeah, that's for sure. As François said, we are very happy about this race, happy about the scenario, which is incredible, and also happy about the skippers, because we did a lot of race actually before this Vendée Globe to be ready, and it seems that most of the skippers were at a high sport level, which is very important for us, and also we are very happy about the boats and the reliability. Maybe the winner of the reality concept, from what we know from the boat, is Stu and his team. It seems that Militia is not far from 100%, but no, it was a huge job, and especially with the new boat to work all together to make that new kind of foiler working. And it's not perfect, but it's a good result. And at the end, yes, it's also a lot of fans that follow the race, much more than the previous race, which is a huge goal for us and for our partners, and also a lot of fans outside of France, which was also something very important for us. Then yes, we are very, very happy, and that's very good for the class and all the teams.
You've had your first, or you have ongoing technical meetings, but you're having meetings during the race. What have you concluded, or where are you moving towards with the class in terms of technical advances?
Yes, actually, during the race, we had every Wednesday afternoon a meeting with the designers and the technical manager of the main teams, which allow us first to analyze what is happening to the race, and also to think about the future. I think what we decide is to continue online from where we are. We are not pushing to change the concept of the boat. We feel that this kind of foiling boat are very good boat. Maybe the last generation, it was a huge defeat to make everything working perfectly. Then we need.
So that was really affected by the COVID period, wasn't it? With the latest generation boats, yeah. I think like Hugo Boss, for example.
Yeah, actually, that was 1.5 years to make the boat reliable after the launch of the boat. But actually, we divide by 2 the time of sailing in 2020. That makes maybe 30% of sailing time that has been lost by the team, by the new boat. And actually they aim a very high level of technology, but then when you suppress 30% of time to validate everything, I would say that this challenge at the end was very, very high, and maybe a little bit too high. Then congratulations to Militia and a few of them that succeed to finish the race, but to be honest, it was a huge challenge with this unexpected situation of COVID for this boat.
Is there still an incentive to build a new boat then for the next race? And if so, when do you get started?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, has that equation changed? Normally, there's 2 philosophies: either you start as soon as this race finishes and you build your boat in the model, if you like, of Chiral, or do you wait late like Alex or other boats?
Yes, because the point is the Vendée Globe, it's 3 things. One thing is the skipper. The second thing is the reliability of the boat. And the third point is the performance of the boat. And the point is that you need a skipper ready to go around the world and to push the boat. Then he needs to know the boat. The reliability, the more you sail, the best chance you have to make your boat reliable. Then it pushed to have a boat as soon as possible, then maybe a boat that is already existing. But in the other way, the performance of the boat is also very important. And in one end, there won't be any major change in the rule. But in the other hand, we can feel that there are a lot of lessons from this Vendée Globe, and maybe in the south, to be faster in the south, a few things about the shape of the hull needs to be thought and invited. Then maybe it's good to build a new one, maybe not. But you know, the Vendée Globe, it's such a big challenge that sometimes it's better to be ready very early, and sometimes it's better to have a more performant boat.
Everybody wants to know what the evolution of the foils will be and the learning from this race. What are your thoughts?
First of all, we know that the foil is a very good solution, because when they can use the foil, for sure the boats are much faster. But a lot of people talk about the foil, but actually it's more the foil plus the shape of the hull plus the sail plan. It's all together that you need to find the right balance, and maybe how to retract them. Then I would say that there are few options on the table, and for the moment we have to continue to look at the data and to analyze this race to know exactly where to go. But I'm not sure that all the future boats will have the same concept.
Okay, so Stu, we're talking big tickets there, we're talking foils. The smaller items, the hardware, you've had next to no problems. I think Boris is one of the few skippers who's not climbed the mast. Why?
He has climbed the mast when he's done some repairs on sails.
Yeah.
He did them in place. So yeah, he has been up the mast, but that was for sail repair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of the hardware, you don't seem to have had too many problems.
No, and
what do you put that down to, other than your experience, obviously? But I mean, it's about making the right choices, isn't it?
It is about making the right choices, maintenance and looking after it. You know, for all your training and your practice races, leading up to the Vendée, but also with Boris, looking after the gear, using it correctly. Not, you know, misuse is a big problem for braking gear on boats. So, you know, he's using it properly, correctly, which is looking after it.
Before he's in, tell us what he's like as a skipper.
He's great.
But I mean,
no, he's great to sail with. He really is. Experience is huge. He knows what he wants when he wants it, so which is awesome for the shore team.
I mean, I think that's interesting. That I think that was one of the things that was kind of a little bit overlooked about Boris, the number of ocean miles he'd done before he started this race.
Right.
I think people kind of looked at it in terms of the IMOCA and what he'd done in the IMOCA and a little bit of the other things. But he's done so many ocean miles with EDEC and also with
loads of different
Giovanni
boats.
Soldini and people like that.
Yeah, with lots of different boats as well, different sizes. You know, the trimarans, multis, monohulls. So you know, you pull all that knowledge and experience together, and you know, you can transfer it to other classes as well. And he's doing that, and he's done a great job of it. So yeah.
A couple of internet questions for you both. We're going to start with you. I think this is probably most appropriate for you, Stu. But a question about weed problems and versus the hydros and the wind generator. So the question is, with the number of weed problems you've had, why don't more boats have wind generators as well, or do you think that will move in the future?
I think it will move as they get more efficient. I don't really know enough about the efficiency of the wind ones. We know the hydro ones and how well they work. Their output is great, and yeah, they're proving to be very reliable now too. So which is awesome. So you know, it's a known factor, known piece of equipment is the hydros, and it's just as like I say, as I get more knowledge of them or more experience and more people are using them, I'm sure we'll go to air generator.
Antoine, you know the hardware as much as anyone. What are your thoughts in terms of the energy systems? The hydros have had one or two problems with weed and going at high speeds. Is the wind generators one of the things of the future?
Yeah, actually, you know, the history is coming back all the time, you know, and and wind generator is a good solution for a long time. The main problem on the IMOCA is the space and where to put it, because on the transom it's very close to the boom and to the line, the reef line and everything. That's why it's a solution that is not easy to install on board. And the hydro generator is something that is working well, but it's inside the water. That makes the reliability, you never know what's happened. And also the problem with the hydro generator is the speed of the boat.
Yeah.
More than 22 knots, it's not so fine. You can't use it. Then I think that it's a mix, and you see in the ultimate boat they are betting they are on the wind generator now.
Yeah.
Then I think both of system will be on the boat in the next years. But also the solar panel are a very good solution. Mm-hmm. It seems that Malizia had a lot, but Eurobus as well. But I think it will be more and more this kind of things on board.
Another internet question that applies to you both, really, but certainly starting with you, Antoine. Converting the IMOCA from Vendée Globe mode to ocean race mode, is it possible? And how many of them do you expect to go down that route?
It's possible, yes, everything is possible. It's possible to do a Vendée Globe 80 days with no winner now, 3 hours before, then yes, everything is possible. And for sure, the shore team and technical manager and designer, they are working around this question for a long time. And we've got quite a good idea about how the boat needs to be modified. Also, what we learn in the analysis of this Vendée Globe will help a lot to make final choice. And how many boats do we expect? That's a very good question. A lot. No, it's hard to say. There's a lot of teams that are working to finance the project. That one is already announced. We know that Malizia is very close to be part of this race as well. And and we expect 8-10 teams would be great. But again,
it's
hard time now with the partners, to be honest.
I understand there are 3 boats going to be built in our 11th hour building, but then two new boats beyond that.
It could be boats that participate in the ocean race. You will see.
Good. Now listen, thank you, gentlemen, both. We'll enjoy your company over the course of the finish. In the meantime, do follow the finishes live on YouTube or our social media channels on YouTube, Dailymotion, and indeed here on the website. Our commentators will be Alec Wilkinson, Dee Kafari, and Malizia's Will Harris, who unfortunately is locked down at home, so he's going to be imparting his knowledge there. All the lives start 30 minutes before the finish line, and we'll bring you with the skippers into the finish area. So that's that. So join us tomorrow. In the meantime, we will endeavour to be live tomorrow. It's very much dependent on what time the boats are finishing. There seems to be no point in running a live if you've got boats finishing. So watch the website and we'll keep you up to date. In the meantime, we're going to leave you with Pip Hare, her reflections on still being out on the water as the finishes develop.
Looks like tonight the first boat will cross the finish line in the Vendée Globe race. Closely followed by the second and maybe the third, but we might not know who the winner is until those top few boats have finished coming in and all of the time penalties have been played out. It's really, really tense at the front there, and my best wishes to everyone at the front of the fleet. They've sailed an astounding race, and who knows how it's going to pan out.